Well, hey, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. It's the afternoon, which means it's time for Open Mic, a show much like the John Campea Show, but it's more laid back, relaxed, and all we do is take your comments and questions. That's what we're going to do here today. I'm, of course, joined by Robert Meyer-Burnett. Robert, how you doing
Very
today?
exciting. I love doing open mics.
They're a lot of fun. They're more a lot less pressure than doing the other stuff. And being a Tuesday, Brooke is joining us today. Brooke, good to have you here.
I love doing open mics too.
It's good to have you here. And we got Taylor, who's running the show here today. He gets promoted in the afternoon. Jonathan lets him run the big console there in the afternoon. And most importantly, guys, you guys are here. So thank you so much for being here and joining us here today. We're going to get into your questions here just a bit. I want to remind you guys that I had announced yesterday that today I would be doing an Avatar open spoiler review. Today's been pretty busy, so we've actually moved that over to tomorrow. So late tomorrow afternoon, I'll be doing a Avatar The Way of Water open spoiler review. So keep your guys' eyes open for that. There won't be an open mic tomorrow. Instead, we're going to be doing an Avatar spoiler review. So just to let you guys know about that, and I hope you guys are having a great day. So Rob, before we dive into the questions here, I wanted us to revisit this a little bit. It was a discussion we started to have on the show this morning, but I had to cut it short because we were running long. But the idea of specifically that you felt that maybe an Aquaman character, Jason Momoa playing Aquaman, would be something that even in the midst of a reboot or a restart that they could or maybe even should continue with that character. I had to cut you off this morning.
Yes.
We were still mid-thought because we were running long again, but I just wanted you to pick up on your thoughts there.
Well, here's the thing. I believe that they are going to do a full reset of the DC universe. They're going to start a new cohesive universe built from the ground up. That said, I still think that an opportunity, we've talked about this the other day too, that certain of the existing things can continue on. Peacemaker being one of them, not just because James Gunn created it, but because there's no reason to say that like an Aquaman film, the first Aquaman movie made $1 billion. The next Aquaman film is, I mean, they finished it quite a while ago, so it's been in post for almost a year.
I don't even think it's in post anymore. I literally just think it's sitting on a shelf.
Yeah, it's probably done. Now, if that movie were to make another $1 billion, or even if it made 800 or 900 million, it seems to me that if that means you've got two movies close to $2 billion. That's huge money. And if there is a will to make another one, it would seem prudent to know, I mean, studios want to be risk averse. And what is more risk averse than following up two movies that made very good money with a third? Now, I think that they could do that with the understanding that it's not part of the new rebooted DC universe, because they would make a big deal about this new DC universe. And I think that Aquaman, depending on what they did, they could move forward with a third. And by the way, John, I think if they do that, that's going to be part of the announcements that they're going to make. I think they're going to know already. They'll know. They already know if Aquaman the Lost Kingdom has that potential to be that good. I think we've got Joker Folie Deux that's coming out. And they're obviously the Matt Reeves Batman is going to be considered, and they would say we will be making another Aquaman movie, but it is not part of the new reboot. I think they're going to have a new, interesting, different version of Aquaman that's different from the Momoa version.
But then you would have to do it without Momoa. Like, cause I
think that they would. I think they would have. I think in this new DC reboot, they're going to have all new versions of the characters. And they're all going to be billed that way. It's all going to be an interlocking. We're going to understand that we're starting from scratch. Now, that doesn't mean I think they would treat a third Aquaman movie the same way they would treat Reeves' Batman and the same way they would.
Of course, the problem with that, though, is Reeves' Batman has never been a part of the DCU.
Right.
And Joaquin Phoenix Joker has never been a part of the DCU. And I think you're running the risk of causing a lot of audience confusion, especially amongst those people who don't watch the John Campea Show and whatever. Like,
sure.
Okay, yeah, but that Superman, the Superman we've had for all this time isn't gone, but this guy's always completely interacting with Superman. It's like, so is the DCU still going? I just think you are hurting your restart by trying to keep one of those properties going.
But I think the difference is that I don't think Aquaman is going to be part of that initial. You'd be 2 or 3 years out, I think, from the introduction. They're going to introduce Superman, Batman, probably Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, I think Aquaman would be introduced later. But it really depends because I just don't think that the studios would want to give up. It doesn't matter what it is. Take the universe out of it. If you have a successful franchise that makes $1 billion, I don't think anybody would in their right mind would say end it. And if they made 2 Aquaman movies that both made $1 billion, I think the studio, the shareholders, I don't think they would worry about it. And James Gunn and Peter Safran would tailor whatever they're going to do and make it work.
I don't know. I still think if you are doing, there is far more invested, like 10x more invested in restarting the DCU than what potential value you could get out of an Aquaman 3. So I think you whatever your priority is, my dad used to teach me this, right? I can tell what your priorities are by what you put your money in. Or I can tell what your priorities by what you're investing yourself in, what you spend your time in, your money in, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, I just think, like it's one thing to have like a Batman that's never been a part of the DCU and all, that's in its own universe. I think to try to suddenly say this Aquaman, which you have known as a part of the DCU, is now suddenly not, but we're trying to introduce you to another new Aquaman when this one's there and we got a new Superman. I just think you are not showing priority for the restarted universe and really going all in on it by doing it for the sake of one movie.
Right, but it's still, I mean, I still think
because new Aquaman can make $1 billion. You can instantly replace the old Aquaman with the new Aquaman. That could make $1 billion.
I mean, it really depends. I think they could say that they're going to do both. Huh. I don't know. I mean,
I don't think they should. I don't think they will, but hey, it's something we'll keep in mind. Guys, whatever you think about this, could they handpick some pieces to kind of, as Rob was describing, spin off into their own isolated universes, even though they're just continuations of the other DC? Could that be something that works for you? Whatever you guys think, jump in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with all that down, let's get into your live comments and questions here, because that's, after all, what we are here for in the first place. So, Brooke, get us started here. What do we got up here first?
Let's get started. JW says, most anticipated of 2023, Mission Impossible 7.
I mean, that's got to be right up there. I mean, we've got next week, we have our standalone videos coming of our best of 2022, our worst of 2022, and our most anticipated of 2023. So I'm not going to give away mine just yet. I'm going to save that for next week's videos. But listen, Mission Impossible 7's got to be on the list.
100%.
Especially with what they were showing us at CinemaCon with Dead Reckoning and the trailers we saw and the motorcycle featurette they've already shown us. It looks crazy.
I mean, it looks great. And I think this Dead Reckoning is going to be the end of this franchise, part 1 and part 2, because, Tom Cruise, this is one of the longest running franchises. It's been going since the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise, he can't keep physically, I mean, he's in his 60s. It's going to get to the point where I don't want to see him get injured doing one of these movies. And they say that part 8's going to be even crazier.
Even crazier. And here's the reality. For 57 years, he found a way to cheat time and still look like he was just getting ready to do the sequel of Risky Business 2.
Yeah.
Only in the last couple of years have we started to see, oh, look, he actually looks like he ages like everybody else, which is kind of crazy. All right, what do we got up next?
All right, Ben Rayner says, is there any way Ray Fisher can return to DC in the future?
No.
Or did he forever burn that bridge with the company? Did you see he called James Gunn out and Gunn replied?
I didn't see that Gunn replied. Look, I was very excited about Ray Fisher when he came out. If you guys, this is going all the way back to the movie talk days. I got super excited about it because while I had not personally seen a lot of his work, this guy was Broadway trained.
Right.
You can be a bad actor and fake your way through television. You can be a mediocre actor and fake your way through movies. When you're on a live stage, there ain't nowhere to hide. And I got very, very excited about Ray Fisher because you come from background, we know we're getting a truly solid actor. And I think he delivered on that.
I do too.
I thought he showcased himself very, very well with his. That being said, I'm personally not a fan with how he's conducted himself since, and he seems to be trying to go out of his way to burn as many bridges as possible. And at this point, I'm not saying what should or should not happen. Let's be clear. I'm not saying what I think should happen or should not happen. I have a hard time imagining a lot of people lining up to work with him other than Zack Snyder. I don't know. I think a lot of studios are like, a filmmaker may come to a studio and say, I want to use Ray Fisher. And they're going to say, yeah, but he could completely embarrass us. He could turn his guns on us and blah, blah, blah. And I just don't know anybody other than Zack Snyder that may want to work with him. He's definitely, especially now with the stuff he's talking about, James Gunn and everything, there's no way he's working at DC again.
No.
And nor should he. But I don't know. I fear we are seeing the waste of some really good talent. But so I don't know, Rob, what do you think?
I feel the same way. I mean, first of all, look, people have to understand, not everybody knows what everybody does or how they conduct themselves all the time. And the things that James Gunn was saying, remember, they were colleagues. Joss Whedon and James Gunn were colleagues at Marvel. Joss Whedon directed Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron, and then James Gunn came on and was doing Guardians of the Galaxy. So how could James Gunn be expected to know everything that Joss Whedon does in his life? And he was supportive of a colleague that was also a fellow director. Now, Ray Fisher calling him all out.
Which, by the way, he deleted his support of him too.
Yeah, yes. And also, but James Gunn's tweets are also getting automatically deleted over the course of time. But I think that, it's really difficult. It's really weird in this day and age that everybody expects everybody else to police one another now. I mean, you can't, if I work with somebody, like you and I work together, but you don't know what I go off and do on my personal time.
I try not to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yes. But
I think I just protect myself legally by not knowing.
Well, and I would just hope, I hope that I would never do anything that would embarrass you. But the idea is that we live in this culture now where everybody thinks that they have to police everybody all the time. And that's one, I think that's dangerous. And two, it's counterproductive because we have to be able to work together. We have to be able to understand that, look, when we're working together, we're trying to do the best that we can. And I think Ray Fisher calling out people on social media is kind of like, I mean, it's really easy to start some stuff on social media, and it doesn't require a lot of effort on your part if you're going to suddenly call somebody out and publicly, and it's bad form.
I just got to say this too. I detest that phrase, and I understand. I'm not for you use it because you're using it accurately. The phrase calling somebody out. It's like creating a phrase to nobilize.
Oh, right.
Acting like a 4-year-old tattletale.
Yeah. Well, that's
but you don't want to say you're acting like, you want to say, I called somebody out. I just don't know what, and there are some examples and there are some situations where I think for the safety of people and stuff like that, it's very, very called for. But a lot of what people today call calling out is just going, I don't like this person. I'm going to let everybody know that you're mean.
Yeah.
Why? What do you think you're going to accomplish by, okay, so maybe this executive over here is like a real hard ass and really mean and maybe insult. Okay, but why do you feel that you have to put up your soapbox in the middle of town? Hey, everybody, he's mean. He calls people names. Why? What's the point? What do you think you're going to accomplish by that? Anyway, again, with some of the stuff from Ray Fisher, though, there were some bigger accusations that, I got it at first, like when Ray Fisher was talking about, look.
Legitimate accusations
about how there's a certain systemic pattern of behavior that I think denotes something really, really dangerous.
I agree.
And a spotlight should be put on it.
Yes.
That's one thing. I kind of got put off by the whole thing, though, afterwards, when it's like, all right, they went out, they got third-party investigators, they got a former, U.S. Circuit judge to come in and look at things. It's like at some point, you got to get off the soapbox. I don't know. All I'm saying, for me, right or wrong, is that I kind of got very put off by Ray Fisher, which is really unfortunate because I think he's a tremendous talent. But I just don't see, with that behavior, I don't see other studios wanting to go, we don't want to get in the pool. We don't want to get into this talent pool when the person in it may turn out to be a shark and bite us. And
it's also interesting. I mean, it's almost like people forget things like Franz Kafka's novel, The Trial. We can't live in a civilization where unfounded accusations can get thrown around willy-nilly. I mean, if there are real accusations to make, we do have a legal system, and we have to believe in our system of justice and allow that legal system to do what it does. I don't like the fact that people are being accused of things and prosecuted on social media and in the social arena without proper due process.
And then the question comes again about the James Gunn. What was the point of Ray Fisher, other than trying to put a big spotlight on himself and bring attention back to himself? What was, if Ray were in the room, I'd ask him the question. What was the point? Why did you feel that there was some importance to calling out? Again, there's that phrase, calling out James Gunn. What was the point? What was the hopeful end result of that? And I don't know. It's a shame because I think he's just ruining his own.
I know, and he's. I mean, one of the
legitimately talented.
I think one of the great things was to see his part restored in Zack Snyder's Justice League. He was wonderful in that part. Bringing Cyborg back and restoring his story into that movie was one of the highlights of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
It was the highlight of Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was, and he was great in it. Anyway, all right, we need to move on here.
I'm not sure what Ray Fisher's comments were at all. I have no idea, but I will say that there is something to someone feeling like they're able to speak truth to power. Obviously, James Gunn is in a higher position. I do feel as though I have no idea what these comments were, so I could be completely off in terms of this situation, but people should be able to feel like they can speak their truth, even though someone is ahead or they're inferior in terms of rank or whatever, because it's important in a workspace especially. And if there are legal implications, it's extremely important as well. You don't want to feel like you can't speak up, especially if something's right or wrong. Now, I don't know what happened with Fisher.
Yeah, that's the problem, though. It's with the specifics of the situation, because speaking up about what? And I think there has to be some kind of benchmark that says, okay, what are you just speaking up against the fact that you don't like that person?
Right.
And you didn't like the way that person looked at you, or you didn't like the way that person, criticized you for the work you were doing, or is there a different benchmark that's like, listen, this needs to be spoken out, because if it doesn't get spoken out, this person's going to hurt other people.
Exactly.
So it just becomes very, very mired. And again, there is this false sense that people give, this sense of self-superiority and nobility to calling out other people. To me, it's just, a lot of times it's just cowardice. Look, I'm sorry, we got to move on because we're falling behind here. All right, what's next?
Well, very quickly, I went to...
more quickly. We got to move on.
We have an update on Black Adam. Do you want to see the tweets? The Rock...
No, we're going to save that for tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had seen it or not.
We're going to save that for tomorrow. All right, what's next?
All right, Diggy Slick says, halfway through S4 of Ozark, season 4 of Ozark, easily in my top 10 shows of all time. Tom Pelphrey should have won an Emmy for his work in season 3. Outstanding acting. This show needs more attention. Highly recommend.
Oh, I'm not going to.
I'm not the one in the room who's watched Ozark. So what do you think?
I'm a huge fan of Ozark, and I think there was a show that really stuck its landing. The ending of it was chilling. I loved everything that was done on that show, and Jason Bateman deserves, he's not thought of in the same, he might very well be, because the way he directed that show and the acting in that show was absolutely astonishing. Incredible
I'm a big
show.
fan as well. I've seen all of the seasons, and I was just enthralled the entire time. Same thing for the ending.
I was so surprised. I was like, wow. Wow.
So.
All right, what's next?
Sidious Swift says, well, The Whale was the first time I full-on cried at a movie. Not just watery, not just sniffles, full-on cry. I heard other people crying too.
Well, that's a testament, because what we have heard pretty much verbatim is that Brendan Fraser delivers a career-defining performance. That maybe the rest of the movie has something to be desired.
Right.
But that he and his performance will move you. And I'm going to assume you haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I haven't had a chance to watch. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but I am dying to see this, because if this performance is as good as we're hearing, it could be something really, really special. I'm glad you had that kind of experience with the man. Thanks for sharing your thoughts.
Is it still in theaters right now?
I don't think it's even hit theaters.
They're
just doing the festival circuit and special screenings right now.
It's in theaters. Right. I saw it a couple weeks ago.
What did you see it at?
I ended up going to Burbank because I thought I was going to have to go to the Grove. But they had it at the Burbank 16.
But it was a special screening.
No, it was just there. It was just out like normal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, they haven't done their actual full release yet.
Really
okay, interesting. All right, what's next?
Alex Von Golem says, tomorrow I'm watching The Well. Cannot wait. Per Fraser's delivery of the line at the trailer's end, I feel he has a big chance of winning the Oscar. And I've heard that too multiple times.
Now, the interesting thing, though, is that while at the Toronto Film Festival and other festivals, you've heard about these standing ovations for performance, him taking home the awards at some festivals. But as some of the awards bodies have started not releasing their nominations and some awards and stuff like that, there's a couple of key ones that he hasn't even been nominated for.
Yeah.
Even though he did qualify for them. So I don't know if that was a byproduct of his performance isn't as good as some people were saying, or if it's a byproduct of maybe some awards bodies just didn't think the movie was good enough to justify giving an award. But we'll see what the Oscar voters think. But I gotta say, I'll be surprised if he doesn't get nominated at this point. Even though I haven't seen the performance myself, just hearing from everybody, it's gonna be odd if he doesn't get a nomination.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, what's next?
Are we with James
Yes.
or Mr.? Okay, James Argenta wrote, out of 35%, there is a crisis film in the next 10 years. Is that what OU means?
Over under.
Oh, over under. I don't know what.
I'm gonna go under.
Over under.
Honestly, Crisis has had mixed results when they've tried to put it on screen at this point.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing to try to put into a tangible, followable, narrative flowing story. And within the next, I don't know. I think we saw what happened when CW tried to do it. I don't know, Rob, what do you think?
I think there's about a 0% chance of that, because I think DC has a different direction to go if they want to go that way, which is Kingdom Come. And I think the idea of a generational rift between the way superheroes are, and one of the great things about Kingdom Come is you had this old established guard, the old guard, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and then you had all these young whippersnappers coming up that had a very different way of thinking about the world. And that's where the conflict came from. That generational conflict is something every generation experiences in real life. And I think in a superhero context, that's going to be something that DC has that Marvel doesn't have. And whereas we're already dealing with multiverses and crises, and the thing about Crisis on Infinite Earths was the DC continuity was so convoluted in the mid 80s.
It was basically a pardon the pun, a crisis response to a problem they were facing in the comics.
And I think that they aren't going to allow that problem to occur in a new rebooted DC universe. But I think they're going to lead up to something like Kingdom Come, because that's a great direction to head in. And
All
it's
right.
something that's, I think, very valid.
But even if they do Kingdom Come, it'll be like Age of Ultron. It'll have the name,
Yes.
but it'll actually be quite different than what the
Yes.
comic story is
Yes.
to actually make it fit in their DCU. All right, what's next?
Mr. Purple Lightsaber writes, John, will the next Superman care about his mom? I love Henry, but if Lois is in trouble in the Middle East, he's there in less than 10 seconds. Mom is kidnapped in North America, tone deaf.
Well, there was a lot.
There's a part 2.
There was a lot going on. Right? Was there a part 2?
Yes. Part 2, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Mom is losing the farm because she can't sell crops. If only she had a son who could plant vegetables faster than a speeding bullet. Great Superman, bad son.
Again, well, first of all, when we got to Justice League, Clark was gone. When she started getting into trouble with the farm and all that kind of stuff, Clark was gone.
He died.
So yeah, he died. So you gotta cut him a little slack.
Yeah.
Well, I was dead. So I think we'll give him a little bit of space for that. All right, what's next?
Callum says, hey guys, who's your favorite TV show character of all time? Mine is House's Hugh Laurie. He was just perfect for the role. I liked House too.
I go
Mark you.
through, there are different periods where like I have a different favorite character on television at the moment, right? The Crowley on Supernatural was my favorite character on TV for a while. Tom Ellis's Lucifer was my favorite character on television for a little while. Paul's character, Mr. Kim on Kim's Convenience, was my favorite character on television for a while. So I go through them. I don't know if I could say I have one singular favorite TV character of all time. I'd have to think about that. I'm going to guess I know yours.
Good Canadian kid.
One James Tiberius Kirk.
James Tiberius Kirk. But there are others. Like I love Ed Bishop as Ed Straker in UFO. And even though he's not a character, when I was a kid, I looked up to Rod Serling hosting the Twilight Zone.
Right.
Because to me, Rod Serling, the fact that he was a character, because he would like show up in the episodes and say something. It was like he was like this Machiavellian, wise sage-like guy that would tell you these stories. So you didn't do these things.
Right.
And I love Rod Serling in the original Twilight Zone.
Do you have a favorite TV character of all time,
Well,
Brooke?
speaking of Ozark, I really love Julia Garner.
Oh, she's incredible.
She's incredible. She's amazing. She also was in that Netflix show about, Anna. I forget her name.
Yeah, the heiress that was conning
Yeah, the
everybody.
heiress. Inventing Anna.
Inventing Anna,
Which
yeah.
she was great in as well. But I also have a least favorite character in a show. And this is going to be very controversial, but I just cannot stand Elizabeth Moss in Handmaid's Tale.
Wow.
I don't know why. And I think it's such a great show and I'm still watching it. And maybe it's the director, but it's like a constant, like her face and like the faces she makes during Handmaid's Tale that are like 5-10 seconds long. And I'm just like, let's keep
the
it going.
cold, stern stare directly into the camera.
Yeah, constantly. Like every single episode, we're like, can we keep it moving? Like, we get it. You're upset. This is a hard life as a handmaid. But I'm just like,
We get it. You're upset.
I never saw Mad Men, and everyone said she was so amazing on that.
She was great.
She's a great actor. She's just not my favorite character in that show.
John Hamm in Mad Men, not a great human being in the show, but he's a great character.
Yeah, some of the best characters on TV are the morally ambiguous ones. All right, what's next?
CJ Rebirth says, there was never an Aaron. That scene shocked me the first time I saw Primal Fear, which is one of my favorite court-related films next to My Cousin Vinny.
Man,
Cousin Vinny.
Richard Gere.
I call that movie Primal Gear because
Primal Gear.
Primal Gear but that is Ed Norton is terrifying in the end of that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. You know, it's not as good of a movie. It's not as good of a movie, but I even like his performance in this movie more than I did in American History X. I think American History X is the better film.
Yeah.
But I thought his performance was even better.
And this
in Primal
twist
Fear.
is you can't even.
Yeah, it's a great twist. And it's hard to pull off good twists these days.
Yeah.
All right.
I never saw that. I need
Oh,
to
it's
see it.
really
Oh,
good.
you've
Check
got
it
it.
Does
out.
he have personalities? No, that's not Edward Norton.
Just watch it.
Just
Okay.
just watch it. It's a
I
legal
love
thing.
Ed
You're a
Norton.
lawyer.
I
You'll
know.
like
Well,
that.
it's
Check it
so
out.
good.
I got to put it on my lawyer films to watch.
All right. What's next?
Quality Not Included says, my dream movie to make would be an artistic, dramatic biopic about Bob Ross, Jim Carrey playing the lead. I'm writing my Oscar speech now, LOL.
Well, you know, apparently, and there's a great shot of it. Apparently, Owen Wilson is playing Bob Ross.
Yep. And the first image was released today.
Yeah. Do we have an image of
Ooh.
that, Taylor?
No, I can get it.
I
I'll find one right now.
I just heard that the first images got released
Yeah.
for it. I haven't seen it myself. I'll be honest with you. I don't have a lot of interest in this movie. I mean, of course, I'm delighted by Bob Ross. Sure. I have no idea if he's got an actual story that is going to be
Oh my
interesting
gosh,
to watch
this is
the
great.
biopic.
It's going to be no weird. Put it that way. I don't
Yeah,
see it being
no
weird.
weird. The Al Yankovic.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that looks even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks what Ross Pool? No, what? Remember when Deadpool was doing Bob Ross? What did they call it? It wasn't Dead Ross or Bob.
I mean, look at that.
that's
Looks more like
terrific.
him.
I love Owen Wilson.
I do too.
I like the Wilson brothers. They're
Oh yeah,
they're
Luke is
Texans, aren't
fantastic
they?
too.
You
Yeah.
know? They're from Texas.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I-
think
yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm a
what's
Texan.
next?
There you go. We stick together. Just a sub 32 wrote, hey, John and Rob, not sure if you guys talked about it already, but what was your guys' thoughts on the Star Wars Eclipse cinematic trailer?
Wait, is that the one that came out like a year ago? Well, with like the banging drums and everything.
I think so. It's funny. I don't recall what it actually is. That it?
It's a video game.
I don't think that's from Eclipse. Is that from Eclipse or is that from is that the Twin Brothers? I can't remember. Guys in the live chat, was the Eclipse that one that came out like a year ago or more? I don't know if there was something new that came out recently. I just remember looking at it and said, well, I have no concept of what this game is about.
Right.
So I didn't really pay attention to guys in the live chat are saying, yes, I honestly thought, okay, that's kind of pretty, but I have no sense of what.
But it never came out, did it?
No. I have no sense of what this game is.
Yeah.
I have no idea what these are just cinematic cutscenes. It isn't gameplay.
Right.
So it was hard to have any opinion about it other than say, well, I look forward to finding out about it. But it didn't make much of an impression on me. All right, what's next?
Jonathan Schultz says, do you think it's odd we haven't gotten an official release date for Secret Invasion yet? All I'm finding is that it's sometime in early 2023, which to me means between January to April.
Well, in actuality, in the world of streaming these days, that's not unusual at all. In a lot of like Netflix, sometimes they'll just randomly they'll drop a trailer and it's opening in like 5 weeks.
Next week.
Yeah, right. So in the world of streaming, it's actually not that uncommon. So honestly, I don't find it's odd at all. Like I would find it all if we got an announcement tomorrow saying, hey, Secret Invasion starts on Tuesday. I mean, that would be a little bit odd, but to not actually have them announce it yet, this kind of par for the course for a lot of streaming.
I think so too. And knowing what I know about it, I'm sure they're waiting until they're closer. It's very ambitious.
They better release it soon because I got some spoilers. Oh shit! I can tell you guys a lot about this thing from the stuff that I've seen already.
I received something in the mail that I can't even display because if I did display it, people would be like, "Why are you displaying that now?" And I'm like, "Well,
I'm just every day I wake up and like, do I feel like really fucking over Disney today?
Don't do that. Don't
Is
do that.
today a day that I really feel like fucking over
Bro.
Disney? Some days, yes, but
Bro,
I haven't woken up in that much of a mood yet to actually let everybody know
don't
what
do
I
that.
saw from Secret Invasion. All right,
Don't do it
what's next?
because it's jaw dropping.
Oh, John. Orantan says, when is TJCS going to recreate the Peacemaker theme?
No, see,
John
so
Campea.
I thought the first time I saw Peacemaker, this is, by the way, the
I'm in
greatest
to do
opening
it.
sequence, any opening credit sequence in any television show ever in history. And I don't even mean that facetiously, dead serious. So
I want to be vigilante.
So I thought about getting the show crew to recreate it, right? But within about 15 minutes after that, there were 40 recreations on YouTube already. And it's like, okay, if we're going to do it, I have to do it within the next 24 hours. And there was no way I could pull it together. So no, the boat for that has sailed, unfortunately.
Oh, such a good dance.
Yeah, such a good dance. All right, what's next?
Matthew Medina wrote, Childish Gambino's Me and Your Mama fits perfect with Hypno Hustler with the background singers and the instrumental break crescendos into... Somewhere there. A funky, violent riff, Awaken My Love, is a villainous funk album that borders on horror. Standout songs are Boogeyman, Zombies, Terrified, and Riot.
All right, so we talked about this the other day. For those of you who haven't heard the news, and I'm sure you did, but Gambino himself, Donald Glover, is kind of sort of fulfilling a dream. He's going to be in a Spider-Man movie, at least a Spider-Man universe movie, playing a game based on Hypno Hustler, which to me sounds like a terrible idea. But it is Donald Glover. I mean, I trust him.
And his backup band, the Mercy Killers.
But here's what I'm gonna go on the limb and say this. I will put 5-1 that whatever this movie ends up being, they will not refer to this character as Hypno Hustler. That will not be the name of the movie. That's just box office suicide. Nobody is going to buy a ticket to a movie called Hypno Hustler. They'll probably be the character's actual name, or just call it Hustler or something like that.
There's already a movie called Hustlers.
Or, The Hustler
were
or
strippers.
something. They will not
Yeah.
call this movie Hypno Hustler. I don't know. What do you think?
I think you might be right about that. However, just like our viewer said, if they come out with a killer trail, this movie could be bonkers hilarious. Like it could be, and I think that Donald Glover, since they're already like announcing this, I think he has a take. Like he probably went to them with a take.
Oh,
and
I'm
said,
sure he's got a pitch.
here's
yeah.
what I want to do. And I wouldn't imagine that Donald Glover would do something unless, I bet, as much as I think this is an insane idea and probably not great, I bet what he's going to do with it, it's going to be like Dolomite Is My Name. It's going to be one of those great, it's going to be great.
See that.
Whatever he does, it's going to be great. And the soundtrack will be killer.
I'm sure the soundtrack will be good.
Yeah.
I feel pretty
Donald
comfortable.
Glover, aka Childish Gambino, has such like cool, creative vibe to himself that people really like that he's gonna make it cool. I don't think he would go in without having like some type of creative vision.
But will people buy tickets? I don't know.
If
And
it's
not
awesome.
Not if it's called Hypno Hustler.
Yeah,
And we've seen lots of awesome films that people don't buy tickets to.
it's true.
So I don't know. We'll see. All right, what's next?
Yvonne Preto says, it's clear James Gunn will recast most characters from the DCU, but what about Shazam and Blue Beetle? You can essentially still keep them, right?
Here's the reality. Now with Blue Beetle, I can't refer to because we haven't even seen the movie yet. With Shazam, as much as it is my third favorite DCU movie, I love Shazam. Love it. Why would you keep a property that, even though you made an utterly fantastic movie, only made $350 million? You would have to make a really good argument for why you'd keep Shazam around when And listen, I'm dying to see the second one. I can't wait. And I hope it does much better than the first one. But guys, spade's a spade. That movie did not do well financially. And I don't know why you keep it around.
And by the way, John, when I was talking about Aquaman, I honestly believe that Aquaman's going to end after The Lost Kingdom. I do think it's going to end.
Oh, okay.
And I do think that Blue Beetle and I think Shazam, this is the end. They're going to release these movies in Flash. They got 4 DC movies, and they're going to end them just the same way that Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy ended. And Dark Knight Rises made $1 billion. I do think, honestly, that they're all going to end and that the new universe is going to start from scratch. I'm just saying the possibility I could see, maybe they'll make another movie, but I do think that this universe is going to end. And
now,
there is not going to be another Blue Beetle.
The reason why you could say in theory you could keep Shazam around is because all you know is that Superman exists in that universe. We never saw which Superman.
Right.
They say that Batman exists in that universe. We never saw which Batman. And so, sure, you could say you could keep this Shazam going, and then we see Superman again, but it's the new Superman, and no problem. But again, I mean, like I don't think Shazam 2 will crack $500 million.
I don't either.
I mean, can Shazam 2 do better than Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam? I don't know. We'll see. All right, what's next?
What was Shazam's powers?
He's kind of like Superman in many ways, but more with electrical powers. Like
Okay, I just couldn't
flight,
remember.
suit, super strength, super speed. All the good stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't coming to me. Okay. Jonathan Schultz again says, one of the reasons I think Spielberg is the GOAT is because of how much variety he's done. He hardly ever makes the same kind of film twice, if ever.
Look, I still contend that West Side Story was a 2021 film, right? I still contend West Side Story was the best movie of the year. I still believe that was the best movie of the year. There is an argument I am debating right now. I'll put together my top 10 of the list of the year next week, but I think there's still a very, very good argument to be made that Fabelmans may be the best movie of the year this year. Like I was completely floored by Fabelmans. He just does that. It's just what he does. He can make Jaws. He can make a Schindler's List. He can tell an epic sci-fi fantasy with Close Encounters. He can make Ready Player One and then do a musical and then do a semi-biography of himself. He can do everything.
Yep.
And that's what makes him the GOAT. I agree with you. He's the best that's ever done it. All right.
He really is, and we love West Side Story. Al Rencha says, hashtag send me your scripts. One of Ray's best ever. What's that all about, Ray?
I'm still thinking one of these days, send me your scripts. One of these days, I told Rob we're going to have a script contest on the John Campea Show where you can send in your scripts and we'll give out prizes. We won't actually read the scripts, of course. We'll probably just look at the title and give some prizes based on that.
Why is Rob Tells from the Crypt-ish?
That's the one thing I do love about this
script.
image. If it didn't say send me your scripts on it, I would think that's one of the greatest things ever.
And I love that he uses the Y.
I know. That's so funny.
All right. What's next?
Yvonne Preto again says, any word on Andrew or Toby returning as Spider-Man? I remember there were talks that they might come back, but I have not heard anything recently.
Yeah, no, there were never talks that they might come back. There were people speculating and wondering and predicting, but there were never any actual real story about them coming back. I think this was their swan song. I think this was the studios giving them their swan song, giving them the goodbye they never got to have before. And it was perfect. It was perfect. Now, could something like that? I don't think Tobey Maguire has any interest in it, to be honest with you. For the stuff I've read with him talking, it feels like he got talked into coming back to do the one, but it doesn't sound like he has much interest to do it. Andrew Garfield, it depends on what point he sees himself at in his career, because after, what's the musical about the guy who did Rent?
Tick, Tick, Boom.
Tick, Tick, Boom.
Which I loved.
Tick, Tick, Boom was amazing. But there's an argument to be made that he's in a point in his career now where he's not looking to do comic book movies anymore. He had that chapter in his life. He's looking to win Oscars.
No,
so,
and
I don't know.
Look, Tobey Maguire is in Babylon. You know, and it's nice to see. I've always liked Tobey Maguire. He's always been in a lot of really great offbeat films, and he doesn't mind playing second fiddle anymore. Like, he was In Great Gatsby, he was in it, but he was the second fiddle to Leonardo DiCaprio. Same with Babylon. I'd love to see Tobey Maguire keep making movies, but I do think they're going to come back in Secret Wars. I think everybody's going to come back in Secret Wars.
Okay,
Everyone.
What's next?
Jay Master says, I highly recommend watching National Treasure, Edge of History is a really good. Catherine Zeta-Jones is a great villain in the series. The episodes are about 1 hour long, and If These Walls Could Sing, now on Disney+.
Yeah.
Is there a part 2?
It's a really good, interesting documentary behind Abbey Road Studios. It's a must-watch, similar to Disney Plus docuseries Get Back about the Beatles.
Yeah, we were talking about the Abbey Road documentary the
Yep.
other day on our What's Streaming Next segment. Again, that one does fascinate me. I'm not going to lie to you. I've not heard good things about the National Treasure.
I haven't either, but
Yep.
there are other people that seem to really like it.
Well, that's good because this is the first time I've heard somebody say they liked it. Because everybody else I've spoken to and read from has been, yeah. And I mean, I haven't heard a lot of people calling it absolute garbage or anything, but I've heard a lot of people going, yeah, this isn't worth your time. So I'd say what, Jay, I'd have to let me hear from a whole bunch more people that watch and really like it, because right now, I gotta be honest with you, it doesn't seem very appealing to me. But the Abbey Road one, that one has my attention.
Yep.
That one I'm really curious about. All right, what's next?
Al Rencha says, DJ would make a great Grey Beetle and Blue Beetle film. He has all the physical traits, and it would be interesting to see him play a straight villain.
It doesn't seem like Dwayne Johnson and a lot of stars has any interest in being a villain and being a bad guy. I also, if you're going to make him the main villain, does he carry the acting chops to make a great Paul Dano Riddler kind of villain?
Yeah.
Like, does he do that? I don't know. We'll have to see. Plus, I don't see him coming back in the DCU anytime soon.
No.
Again, we'll talk a little bit about the tweet that he put out earlier today, which is very interesting, but we'll talk about that more tomorrow. All right, guys, listen. Before we continue on here with the remaining part of the show, we're going to take just a second here and thank one of the sponsors of our video today. They make my ass feel fantastic. Our friends at MeUndies.
The holidays are officially upon us, and it's time to start celebrating. Do your thing and holiday your way with MeUndies. Because it's the most wonderful time of the year to try MeUndies, because they're currently offering a very merry deal. Get 20% off your first purchase with free standard shipping and free returns when you go to MeUndies.com/Campea. Guys, you know I've been wearing MeUndies for a while now, because I used to be like everybody else. I would go to the big store, buy the biggest box of the most generic underwear, and I thought that was good enough. But ever since I started MeUndies and started wearing the most comfortable underwear I have ever worn in my life, I swear on this Christmas season, I will never go back. So get your holiday shopping finished early and start making time for yourself with the new MeUndies holiday collection. Their undies, long underwear, and sleepwear are made out of the softest, most supple fabric you've ever felt and are guaranteed to bring you comfort and joy to all of your loved ones. Shop their classic plaid prints for a traditional, picture-perfect style, or get festive with their adventurous limited edition sweater prints. Available in sizes extra small all the way through 4XL, MeUndies has what you need to make all of your favorite people smile this holiday season, all in one convenient place. So to get 20% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/Campea.
And thank you to our friends MeUndies for sponsoring this episode of Open Mic. Hey guys, listen, I honestly, all joking aside, I highly recommend them. They are the most comfortable underwear I've ever used. Go down to the description of this video. You'll see the promo link and the promo code. Go and use that today. All right, with that down, let's keep things rolling here. What is our next question?
All right. Yvonne Preto writes, if Scorsese directed a comic book film, which character do you think aligns with his vision? I can see him doing Punisher or a gritty gang-style Batman.
It's funny because a friend of mine was talking to me. Again, I don't care about X director and doing X movies, but if you're asking specifically which one would fit him best, it's Punisher. I honestly think Punisher is a gritty war vet. I mean, because basically he did make a Punisher movie. It was called Taxi Driver.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, that to me kind of makes the one that makes most sense. Which one do you?
You know, I would think, but I think he could have killed a Daredevil movie too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're in the same.
Yeah.
And I don't just say that because Punisher and Daredevil cross paths in the comics, but I would love to have seen a Daredevil because Daredevil's set in Hell's Kitchen, but Hell's Kitchen of the 70s.
Right.
That I love just grungy, gritty New York 70s stories. You would have killed it.
All right. What's next?
Jonathan Schultz writes, one of my favorite movie lines ever. when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit by Doc in Back to the Future.
I mean, listen, I still remember it's different today because we've had so much stuff that has come out, but that movie was so far ahead of its time. It was one of the most quotable movies ever, especially around that era. It did things in its movie that we had never seen before. Today, we think about it in the terms of nostalgia. And that was a fun movie and think of it fondly. But you got to remember, at the time, it actually broke a lot of ground.
Dude, Back to the Future is, even now, it's lost none of its powers because it's still set in 1985. So it's not dated in the sense that it's a period piece now, but it works. It has one of the best screenplays ever written. That movie is so entertaining on so many different levels, and every little thing that they set up pays itself off. I mean, it is a wonderful, wonderful movie.
Now, I got to confess, I am not a big fan of Back to the Future 2, and I am quite not a big fan of Back to the Future 3. So I know, like, when we talk about Back to the Future, I'll light up. Like, I'm excited. But when the people want to bring up the conversations of one of the best trilogies of all time, I'm like,
I'm with you.
You know what? It reminds me a lot of The Matrix. First one, astounding, mind-blowing, incredible. The second one, I still think was pretty good. And the third one, so Matrix will never be in the conversation for me of best trilogies.
No.
But neither will Back to the Future for me personally.
But the first Back to the Future is one of the great,
insane. So good.
brilliant film.
All right, what's next?
Jay Master writes, happy holidays to all. Rob, Seattle is under a winter storm watch warning until Thursday. We're getting up to 8 inches of snow with temperatures dropping to 17 degrees.
Yeah, you've got the bomb cyclone coming in from Canada.
Why is that up?
Oh, for happy holidays, Shrek the Hall.
Of course, Taylor.
Yeah, Seattle is the bomb cyclone comes down from your neck of the woods, and it gets freezing cold and drops the snow. I'll tell you, John, we didn't have, like in Seattle, we never had many snow days where you could sled. But where I lived on Mercer Island, we had some great sledding hills, man. And there was nothing better than and we were pretty violent. Like, we'd try and knock each other off sled. It was the best.
You know what I find adorable? When Americans use the term freezing to me.
Well, that's true.
And seeing 17 degrees. Now, but that is true of also some Canadians who live in the southern parts of Canada, like Toronto, Southern Ontario. Because as somebody who's grown up there, I could tell you, I didn't know what freezing was till I moved for a while to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Oh my gosh.
Where in the winters, you get about 6 weeks of negative 40.
Yeah, dude.
And if you're wondering, is that Fahrenheit or Celsius? That is where Fahrenheit and Celsius meet, is at negative 40. So it was something else.
I was in Winnipeg in the dead of winter.
Winnipeg can get down minus 30, minus 40.
And I had never seen, snow was so cold that it wasn't sticking, and you'd see it blow across the road, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. But my balls were gone. They sucked so far up into my body. I'm like, I'm so cold. But it was amazing.
All right.
Angelinos, yeah. If it's 60 degrees, they're got full jackets on.
I had to have a serious conversation with Ann once. Like, we go walking, and she goes, "It's freezing." I said, "Tell you what, Ann, if you breathe out and can see your breath, you're allowed to say it's freezing." Because I'll be out there in a t-shirt and she's bundled up into whatever. It's freezing. I say, if you can see your breath, you can say that. But if you cannot see your breath, don't say that.
I have full-on ski jacket, like anything lower than 70.
It's a cloudy day. Break out
so
the
cold.
boots. All right, what's next?
Oh, goodness. Miguel Zain says, hey, John, regarding Affleck directing, how about he directs the first Justice League film? I rewatched some of his films. There were so many thrilling scenes. That Plaza Market and airport scene and Argo was thrilling.
Well, listen, dude, there's a reason that Argo won Best Picture of the Year at the Academy Awards.
Oh, yeah.
And why Affleck won the Directors Guild of America Best Director of the Year award. Actually, he won every Best Director of the Year award except the Oscars that year, which was just crazy to me. But, I mean, I don't know. I love Rob's idea more. I don't think whatever DC movie Ben Affleck is going to direct, I don't think it'll be Batman, but I sure hope you're right, because you seem to think it's Batman. And while I don't think that's the case, I hope you're right, because I would love to see his Batman movie, man.
I only think the only reason I really believe in this is because, like, Warner Brothers they'll have scripts that are years old and get them made. And if that script, because I've just heard that script was great that he was developing, if it's indeed that great, it would definitely fit in to a new resurrected Batman.
You just have to adapt it a little bit.
Yeah, I just want to see that story, because you could have a young Batman taking on somebody who's older, wiser, more dangerous than Batman is in Slade Wilson, the Terminator. I'd love to see that. Please make it happen, James Gunn. Please.
What's next?
Glenn Mark says, hi, seen Ozu's floating weeds? The framing in his shots I rarely see these days. For example, I'd like more pillow shots that aren't always nature porn.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Ozu is the Japanese director who's one of he's one of the grandmasters, and Ozu's films they're incredibly poetic, incredibly romantic, and I do not own this movie, but I do own other Ozu movies. Criterion must put this out, but Ozu is one of the Japanese masters.
All right,
very different than
When he says pillow
Kurosawa.
shots, what is that? Does that mean like shots in bed?
No, that's what I was thinking. I mean,
we said, what do you call it? Nature porn? Bring it up again.
Sure.
Bring it up again, Taylor.
when he says
More
pillow shots, does he
that
mean
aren't always
clouds?
nature porn.
Probably means clouds, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
I like that, nature porn. Okay, that's weird, but it's cool. Hitchcock is the GOAT said, would it benefit?
No, I think Jonathan Schultz.
Oh, yeah, Jonathan Schultz.
Sorry, Jonathan. Sorry to move over you. Jonathan Schultz says, Sam Rockwell and Galaxy Quest equals brilliant.
Playing Guy.
Guy Fleegman.
You have no idea how much I love Galaxy Quest.
Dude.
I love that movie with an undying passion. And yeah, Guy in that movie is great. But you know who, one of the guys, obviously Alan Rickman, he steals the movie, but smaller role, Monk. What was the actor's name again? Guys in live chat. Who?
His name's on the tip of my tongue.
But I remember him even more because me and some buddies used to get together when I was younger. Tony Shalhoub. Thank you.
He's also in
Elijah
the Siege with Denzel Washington.
Tony Shalhoub. I remember me and some friends when I was younger would get together and we would watch, I think it was Thursday evenings. We would watch, like this was like the last season or two of Cheers, Simpsons, and Wings. And Tony Shalhoub, that's the first time I saw him, was in Wings. By the way, Thomas Hayden Church, that was the first place I saw Thomas Hayden Church as well, was in that same show. That was a great show. But I love Tony Shalhoub. He's great.
He's
in Marvelous Ms. Maisel too. He's fantastic.
He's great.
In that.
When he's in the engineering section of the ship, the protector, and he's like, he's like stoned.
Yeah, the generator can't handle the pressure or something.
It's so funny. He's so great.
He's great.
Great.
All right, what's next?
Now we're back to Hitchcock is the GOAT, who writes, would it benefit Paramount to buy back streaming rights for Yellowstone from Peacock since it's so popular now? They don't have their own flagship show.
Well, look, everybody says, so-and-so should buy this. Well, that's great to say. What if it's not for sale? But here's the other thing. Right now, Paramount is kind of benefiting from this deal because they have a weekly, ragingly popular advertisement for their network on somebody else's network.
Yeah.
And so they've got all the Paramount Plus subscribers, and plus they've got this living billboard on another competitor's network called Peacock that's basically advertising the Yellowstone universe. So I don't know if they're in a big rush. Like eventually the rights will lapse and they'll just get it back on Paramount Plus.
I mean, 5 years ago when the show started, they didn't know where it was going to be 5 years from now nowadays. So, they have to honor their licensing commitments.
But
whether
they
want
all
to or
lapse.
Not. They all lapse.
But for now, they're actually getting some benefit out of it being on another streamer.
It makes me wonder, though, how those decisions are made, like legally as well. Do you guys know why they decided to?
You're looking to maximize, like when they were putting together Yellowstone, like Paramount Plus, we had CBS All Access, but Paramount Plus wasn't even a thing yet. When you're creating these shows, you're trying to create revenue streams. So you create your licensing deals so that other people can pick this up and use it and run it. Now, they sign those deals, they get revenue, but then Paramount Plus comes along. And well, the licensing is already done. So it's kind of like Spider-Man are movies that Sony gets.
Right.
Spider-Man is under the Sony banner because many years ago, Marvel signed a licensing deal with Sony, gave them a license, and they control Spider-Man now, and Disney doesn't. Someday that'll change. But yeah, for now, Paramount does not get to have.
But that's why they love creating these new shows, because they do own those.
Yep, they own the lock, stock, and barrel, and Yellowstone advertises them. Mm-hmm. All right, what's next?
Mr. Purple Lightsaber writes, hey guys, what do James Gunn and a good NBA player have in common? They both know when to pass the rock.
Yeah, you can also say that's somebody with kidney stones. But yes, and again, tomorrow we will have. There's a very interesting story for us to talk about tomorrow with some comments that, quite frankly, a really good statement that Dwayne Johnson has put out regarding him and James Gunn. But again, we'll go that into tomorrow. But that's a good joke. Well said. All right, what's next?
Glenn Mark says, random comment. I've never fallen in love with someone on screen as I have with Ghost Whisperer Lead. When she smiles, my heart's all aflutter. Conrad was a lucky actor. Jennifer? Love Hewitt.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
It wasn't that a show, The Ghost Whisperer with Jennifer Love Hewitt?
Never heard of it.
I think that was a show, wasn't it?
I've got a buddy. Me, Ray, and Ann have a buddy of ours. You guys, he's the one who looks like Ben Affleck in all my pictures. Our buddy Ryan. Massive Jennifer Love Hewitt guy. As a matter of fact, for his birthday, when Cameo was just getting going, my gift to him is I got Jennifer Love Hewitt to send him a video message. And I'm pretty sure it's still on his phone. It might even be the wallpaper on his phone. But yeah, that dude.
Wasn't there a show, Taylor?
Yeah, it's a 2005 show. I just looked it up.
Okay.
It had 5 seasons and it starred Jennifer Love Hewitt.
I had never even heard of it.
Yeah.
Me neither.
I was never a Jennifer Love Hewitt guy. So, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. But
Were you more of a Nev Campbell? Is that what it was? Because they were both in Party of Five, right?
Yeah, no, not even Nev Campbell. That's just not my genre of girl.
Oh, not redhead.
Not redhead.
That doesn't have to be redhead,
Wait,
but
who's
just
redhead?
different.
Jennifer Love.
No, neither.
No, that's
No,
the
neither.
point. They're neither
you're
redhead.
saying
That's
you
why-
like redheads.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Not
What
my genre.
happened to Jennifer Love Hewitt? She is.
She's
beautiful.
got that. She's on that. It's the ABC show, the emergency response show.
911.
Yeah, she's the star of 911.
Oh, wow.
One of the stars of 911. Yeah.
Yeah,
So she's
I
still
feel
going.
like Jennifer Love Hewitt is like very cutesy, like cute girl, and Nev Campbell's like very like beautiful, sexy woman.
Yeah, if I was going to
That's
go in
the
that,
difference.
to me, Kate Beckinsale is the height of that genre of woman.
Mm-hmm.
I just
You're
remember
gonna
she
look
had a Jennifer Love Hewitt had a series or a movie out recently where she plays this soccer mom housewife during the day, but in the evening she's a prostitute.
Oh, wow.
As soon as I told my
Wow.
buddy about that one, he's like,
Really?
all right, what's next?
Prostitute or escort, John? You know. I'm trying to give prostitutes some anyway. Derek Large says, just how great was Zoe Saldana in Avatar 2?
Oh, come on.
I don't want to go into any details. I got something to say, particularly about one particular scene, but I will save that. I mean, then again, it brings up the whole question again about how much of it is the performer, how much of it is the visual effects team. Like, to me, like this came up when there were discussions about during Planet of the Apes, whether or not Andy Serkis should have been considered for a Best Supporting Actor thing. And there are a lot of people who will contend that, well, you know, it's not just the actor, it's also the visual effects team and stuff like that. And I concede that. But I think it's also true of like regular actors, like a regular actor who's on screen. It's not just them, it's the lighting people, the costume designers, it's
Editors.
all editors, the direction that the director is giving them, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, so it's a little bit different, but now I'm not saying I think Zoe Saldana should get an Academy Award nomination for this, but she's really good at it.
I
Really
think
good.
she kicked ass.
Yeah, she's great.
That's what I would say.
All right, what's next?
All right. Koa1708 says, do you guys actually read the comments on videos?
Every single one.
Yep.
I mean, I obviously I don't have time to respond to them, but yeah, I read all the comments on the videos. So there you go.
I only read the open mic videos comments that I'm on.
The only times I ever respond, like, and I won't do it all the time, but sometimes I'll respond like somebody will write, you guys know he doesn't actually read these comments. I'll write, hi, or something like that. But like I won't even respond to those all the time. All right, what's next?
Quality Not Included writes, Zachary Levi and Rock tweeted DC updates. I think.
Well,
that's what
yes,
Taylor was
we
talking
know.
about.
I didn't know about Zachary Levi's one, but I do know that big post that James Gunn made the other day. Zachary Levi was like one of the top comments on it. But again, he's my Shazam.
I also think that there's a misconception Warner Brothers is not giving up on this new Shazam movie that's coming out. They're going to promote the hell out of it.
They are promoting. I was just at Avatar. They put a big trailer of Shazam: Fear of the Gods in front of it.
I think everybody at Warner Brothers is really excited about this movie coming out.
Yeah.
You've got Dame Helen Mirren playing the villain along with Lucy Liu. And the whole Shazam family. It looks like it's going to be great.
Listen, they are going to get fully behind this movie. Well, they already are fully behind it. They're going to get way behind on the Flash movie. Yeah, these are big projects for
Blue
them.
Beetle and Aquaman. They're going all in. It's not like they're gonna hide these movies. They want them to make the most money they possibly can make.
Yep. All right. What's next?
Jonathan Schultz says, favorite activity around the holiday season? I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. You guys are the best. Bring on the filthy to all.
I think Ann and I, we already did it the other night. We went down into downtown Riverside to their Festival of Lights. I love doing those, just finding the Festival of Light neighborhoods and walking around those. That's kind of my favorite thing to do around the holidays. Since I'm in Los Angeles and I don't have real Christmas, real snow, real winters. Winter is my favorite season of the year, by the way. So without that, just walking around watching the lights and festival. What about you guys?
I love driving around LA because there's like nobody driving around LA. Between Christmas and New Year's, wherever you want to go, like sightsee, go up to the Hollywood Reservoir, just go places. There's nobody there. I also like to read a lot. Cormac McCarthy's duology that came out over the last couple months. I'm going to read that.
All right, what's next?
The Sock says, on holiday leave from basic training, got 4 weeks left to go.
Nice.
Saw Black Panther 2 and finished Andor and gonna see Avatar 2. Anything you recommend to watch that's come out lately? I missed a lot in 6 weeks.
And by the way, Sock sent in like a $20 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Sock. That's all good. Just because it's the Christmas season, there are two things I would really recommend. Spirited isn't one of them just because I haven't watched it yet. We're going to watch that on Christmas Eve, we decided. The Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Must watch that. It's phenomenal. And I would suggest, it's weird saying it, Violent Night. Get out there and go watch Violent Night with David Harbour. I had way more fun watching that movie than I thought I would. So, and you haven't seen it yet yourself.
No.
Yeah. It's not something you can take Izzy to. It's rated R. It's an R-rated thing.
Okay, because that child likes scary stuff, I'll tell you.
It's
She was watching Chucky at like 4.
oh yeah. But yeah, it's gory, it's fun. I loved it.
You know, I'm really enjoying The Recruit, the Netflix series, The Recruit. It's about a guy who goes...
With Noah Centineo from Black Adam.
Noah Centineo from Black Adam. He's a young lawyer. He joins the CIA as a lawyer, and things go from there. And it's a lot of fun.
All right. What's next?
The Sock says, nope. Oh, by the way, thank you for your service to the Sock. Olarum Timmy 8 Ajibola says, hi, John. Did you like Enola Holmes 2? And do you think there could be a spinoff for Sherlock Holmes? It was kind of teased at the end of the movie. Thanks.
And by the way, sent in a $20 super chat as well. Thank you so much for that, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch Enola Holmes 2. I was not all that taken with the first one, to be honest with you. Now, I heard Henry Cavill address this himself before, a couple of months ago, when he said, this universe belongs to Enola. So I don't know if that was him basically telling everybody that there's not going to be a Sherlock spinoff, or I don't know. But all I know is that even though I haven't watched Enola 2 myself and I have no plans to, I did hear Henry Cavill say, hey, this universe belongs to Enola. So it doesn't sound like it, but I mean, who knows what they've got him under contract for. Did you watch Enola Holmes?
I haven't watched the second one. I like the first one.
I wasn't that big on the first one.
I plan on just keeping up. I want to watch this kind of stuff. That's the kind of thing I would watch between when we're dark next week.
Right.
You know?
I've seen somebody in the live chat saying that the Enola Holmes 2 is actually way better than the first one. Yeah. I tell you, if I hear more people telling me that, maybe I'll check it out. Now, by the way, guys, and is that it for the super chats?
Yes.
All right, guys, listen, I'm going to let you guys know. I should have said this on the John Campea Show earlier today, but you guys watching right now will be the first ones to hear this. There are not going to be any John Campea shows next week. We are going dark. Now, there are going to be videos going up. We're definitely going to be doing some videos. We're going to have our best of 2022 is going to go up. We're going to have a pre-recorded episode of the Weekly Heroes going up. We're going to have our worst of 2022 video going up. We're going to have our most anticipated 2023 video going up. I'll probably do like one or two Ask Me Anything. So there are going to be videos, but just so you know, there will not be any regular John Campea shows next week because we are giving everybody the week off. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, guys, that'll do it for this installment of Open Mic. Thank you so much for being here and making this show a part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those super chats. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the John Campea Show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. So don't forget to come on back and join us tomorrow. We got a lot going on the channel tomorrow. We got the John Campea Show in the morning. We've got our Avatar, The Way of Water, open spoiler discussion tomorrow afternoon. So if you've seen the movie, get ready to come and join us for that discussion. And we look forward to seeing you there. So for myself, the one and the only Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett, running the show back there today was Taylor. And of course, Brooke being here today. Thank you so much, Brooke. My name's John Campea, guys. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.